What's up, everybody? It's Lawrence again. So a couple months ago, the first iteration of the silhouette released. It was called the Nike React Element 87. The Element 87 was the first reason the React cushioning was made for the shoe. It was called the prequel, really before the React element, or the React material was used for both basketball shoes as well as running shoes. Now we're seeing Nike put it basically on every type of silhouette, which is really exciting because people seem to both love the cushioning and the style of it. With that said, the original kind of Element 87 release with the translucent upper had a very deconstructed look. The translucent upper definitely is not for everybody, and so they released the Element 55, which is a shoe that we'll be talking about today, and that is going to have a solid upper, but with the same exact midsole and outsole tooling. But without further ado, here is the Element 55. So let's start with the upper like we always do. This is obviously the black colorway. The upper is made out of a nylon-based material. It's very similar to a jacket type material, the type that you would have that would seem waterproof but not exactly waterproof. It's pretty flimsy in terms of its design, and it's not too stretchy. So if you look at this, while it's flimsy, the stretch on it actually isn't much. So you can see it very much in the toe box, and that it's actually really hard to grab onto the upper. The upper is actually made out of different patterns, and so there's two main patterns. There's a dot pattern, which is very, very small on several panels of it, and then there is a line pattern that's also composed of dots in two other panels as well. Towards the back of the upper, you're going to see this fused material with stitching throughout. This is a lot more prominent on the Element 87s, which is the translucent upper, because there's contrast stitching. On this one, it's the same exact color, so making it a little less fun to be around. Going around to the back, you're going to have a heel counter that is built into the midsole as well as the upper. It's a pretty small heel counter, so it really doesn't do too much in terms of rigidity, and it has a hatch pattern or fence-like pattern on it, and it does say Nike React on the lateral side. In addition to that, the lacing system is made out of this suede-like material that also goes into the upper, so you can see that it runs into here, and so you can see rope style lacing on top of that, and that runs all throughout the upper. There's a very large swoosh done in white on the lateral side, and it's missing on the medial side. I kind of wish they did a little something. Usually when Nike does a huge swoosh on one end, they do a smaller swoosh on the other side, or a little baby swoosh. I kind of wish that they kind of did that a little more. And then on the tongue itself, it's also made out of a, I wouldn't even say suede-like material, it's more like a felt-like material. It says Nike React over here, and then there is a Nike pinwheel made out of the Nike swooshes over here. Going to the midsole, you're going to have a pure white midsole, and you're going to have these really interesting elements, and it's both something I like about the shoe, but I also don't love about the shoe. The rubber knobs kind of go into the top, and this is what the outsole is made out of for traction. So going to the bottom of the shoe, you're going to see some of that more aggressive rubber patterns with the nubs on the bottom as well, and that's done in both a white and a black. One other notable thing, a lot of people kind of talk about this quite a bit, the bottom is exposed React. The reason they do this a lot is mainly to save weight, but the React itself, from all the React shoes that I've had over the last 7 to 8 months, really does hold up well, so I wouldn't worry too much about durability. So what's interesting about the outsole as well as the midsole is, unlike kind of other soles, there's actually drilled holes into this shoe on purpose. So you're going to see that over here. You're going to see the patterns over here. And the reason they do that is mainly because it helps add stability. It helps add for comfort. And so this was actually a way to make lifestyle decisions on the React sole all throughout. And so I thought it was really interesting in terms of them doing that. If you kind of remember what the Epic React was, the Epic React was computationally engineered so that each piece of the midsole and the React cushioning was for each specific size, which is not something they normally do. They normally just kind of go up and down. And so they put in a lot of work here, and it really does show. Finally, on the inside, you're going to have a standard insole done with a white Nike swoosh and Nike logo. So what are my thoughts on this shoe? Very simply, this is probably one of the most comfortable underfoot feels I've ever put on, and that includes the Epic React, the EXP X14s, the Pegasus 35s. These feel phenomenal underfoot. There's something about both the rigidity and bounciness and softness of the cushioning that just makes it absolutely phenomenal. This is the best version of React that I've ever put on, and that's saying a lot considering I've tried the Pegasus 35 Turbo, with both the ZoomX and React on top of it. So I think from a lifestyle perspective, this is the perfect cushioning as of right now on the market today. The shoe completely and utterly falls apart once you get into the upper. The upper itself is not flexible in any way, and so it's just really, really rigid. Even though it's flexible, it has no shape. I actually wish there was a little more fuse, or the hyperfuse that typically Nike uses on a lot of their Flyknit materials on this specific shoe. I wouldn't say that it's not comfortable, but it's definitely not a great upper. It feels cheap, it's flimsy, the construction on it really isn't great. There's glue stains everywhere, and I would just say that it looks like a cheap shoe on the upper, and it really, really kills how amazing this midsole feels. Main gripe with the shoe really has less to do with the kind of overall upper and more with the tongue. I don't like the tongue at all. It feels like, you never do arts and crafts and you have these felt things that you would cut into shapes and animals or whatever for like elementary school type projects. That's what this feels like. So it's like a very flimsy version of it. I can see myself just tearing this like a piece of paper, and I really don't like that. From a sizing perspective, super simple. True to size is going to be somewhat tight, but the way the upper is constructed, you probably want to go true to size. If you have a super wide foot, I'd say that you might have some problems with the 55 or 87 silhouette. So regardless, I'd say you're going to have some issues. So I would still go true to size. If you go up a size, there's too much room in the foot, and because of how floppy the upper is, it's just not going to look good. If you get a size down, you're definitely going to be crunched up to the toe. Even on my true to size, and you'll see this in the on feet, I'm basically at the edge, and so you probably can't go down half a size. So at most, go up. If you want it to look aesthetically pleasing, probably go true to size. In addition to that, the suede that's being used over here for the laces, it's super, super cheap, and I don't like that either. And honestly, it just really does kill the shoe because it has a premium, amazing sole, and it has such a shitty fucking upper. I think for $130, I don't think you're gonna get a better underfoot feel, because I don't think you can pay $200 and get a better underfoot feel. But what I'm just super disappointed in the upper, and that makes me actually not want to keep these and go after and pay resale for the Element 87s instead of the Element 855s. That's a huge thing. So basically, I've been looking at the Element 87s for a while. I didn't want to pay resale because these were coming out, and I thought these would be great. I'm not too sold on the translucent uppers on the 87, but the reason why I'm going to pay resale for the 87s is mainly because this upper isn't great, and I honestly have not heard great things about the 87 upper, and it's definitely a hit or miss, depending on who you're talking to, but at least it looks fucking awesome. It's translucent, there's really cool color elements that it has. Specifically with the Undercover collab, there's some really cool colors, and kind of the design aesthetic of Undercover really permeates throughout that. With all of that said, your average consumer that does not care about all these things and is not a huge sneakerhead, this is the perfect shoe at $130 for lifestyle wear. I cannot even start mentioning how great these shoes are at $130 price point compared to Nike Freeze and then several other types of shoes from Adidas for around $100 to $130. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. Like always, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. Really, more importantly, hit the thumbs up just so that this video got some visibility. But that's it, guys. This is the Nike React Element 55, done in the black and white colorway. Until next time, peace.